We back, and on this episode of Do Not Shoot the Messenger, we got this guy on YouTube by the name of CJ's Perspective. I put it up on the screen just so you all can subscribe. He definitely has an interesting perspective on average white men. Let's check it out.
If you scroll down social media and check the average racist timeline and comment section, they'll try to make you believe that it's the blacks, the Mexicans, or the Chinese communists that's leading to the downfall of the whites in America. But the actual truth is you guys have always been mediocre and just had the benefit of oppressing everybody around you. What you're starting to see is the fruits of a people that have never had to compete for anything. What you're starting to see is black people that, just like Jasmine said, has always had to work 10 times as hard just to get to the heights we reach, closing the gap. And their response to that is what it's always been. They lash out.
The great replacement of white people is far more sinister than any redistricting project. That is at the core of the Democrat project, at the core. And Jasmine Crockett is just some circus act in that entire operation. But it's definitely serious. You shouldn't take what she says seriously. It's just a joke. What she represents is very serious, which is the continued attempt to eliminate the white population in this country.
Dear white people, it ain't nobody else's fault but your own. You're the biggest contributors to your own decline. Stop playing the blame, shame, victim game. Soft times make weak people. And while you guys was getting fat and taking your foot off the gas, everybody else was working and learning. Because our excellence isn't an option while you guys is. And here's where they keep missing the boat. And you just heard Charlie doing exactly this. Y'all so focused on us that you're missing out on training your next generation on what they need to do to beat their contemporaries without a handout. It's time y'all stop complaining and being victims and pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
Hey, he's cooking on that. He's cooking. I've been saying that, oh my God, for a long time. I've been saying that for a long time. That one of the problems with America, like when Trump first ran, he was talking about bringing the coal miners back and bringing manufacturing back to America. And I'm like, am I the only one that thinks that this doesn't make any sense? Like, we have better alternative energy sources than coal mining, right? We have a lot better things going on. Why aren't people being retrained and re-educated onto something that is for the future? You know, artificial intelligence, robotics, right? Blockchain technology, coal mining, right? Bringing back manufacturing. We just saw Amazon cut 40-some thousand jobs because they're bringing in robotics and artificial intelligence. And it's like the system is failing, you know, in this particular situation, he's talking about white Americans, but it's failing everybody. And here's the other thing, right? One thing that he mentioned about educating your people. In my area, Muslims and Indians are building their own schools. They're all building their own schools in my area. So you see like STEM schools, right? Where they don't promote it, but within their community, they know, all right, when you come to this area, like send your kids to that school. Like, they're learning STEM and, you know, artificial intelligence. And then these Muslims have their own schools where they're like, hey, forget that. Y'all need to learn this. While white Americans and African Americans that take part in the traditional public school setting, well, you know, Christopher Columbus and the Pythagorean theorem, it's like a bunch of shit that isn't going to help you for your future, right? While they're learning technology and entrepreneurship, you know, we're being indoctrinated with some complete fucking trash, right? That's not going to help us. And that's what a lot of these white men are falling victim to, because their forefathers didn't foresee technology. And in addition to that, their forefathers needed them to be a part of the machine to keep certain families rich, right? And in the long run, what that did was make them not as prepared for the future. But hey, let's let them cook.
The days is long, but the years is short. And every day y'all spend complaining and obsessed with us and spewing these lame ass fixed stats to try and make us look bad is another day every other race is slowly but surely closing the gap on the hundreds of years of a head start you've had. And here's another thing. Y'all so lazy that instead of innovating new tactics, y'all still using the same shit y'all was using before I was born. We've caught on. Get some new tricks. We got too much access to real information to fall for that same outdated bullshit and propaganda. It worked when everybody only had one news channel to watch. Shit's so terrible the kids that look like you ain't falling for it.
If you seriously believe the 13% of the population and 50% of the crime, you need to get fact-checked, and I'm about to do it to you. In 2016, white people committed 70% of the convicted crime, and black people only committed 27%. Then in 2017, white people committed 68% of the reported crime, and black people only committed 26% of it. And in 2024, white people committed 53% of the reported crime, while black people only committed 25%. So this narrative on 13% of the population, 50% of the crime is wrong. You know who actually commits 50% of the crime? White people. But guess what stat black people are 13% of the population and 50% in? Exonerations. You know, when they're wrongly convicted. All you're doing by spreading this fake fact is allowing more people to profile and be racist towards black people. You know what's the highest percentage of people who are victims of white people? Black people. And if you look at all the shootings, guess who are the shooters? White dudes. So let's all think long and hard on who actually commits 50% of the crime.
Then they got the nerve to talk about DEI hires. And how they just be taking terms, flipping it and giving it a whole new meaning. But by the white supremacist definition of DEI, they've been the greatest beneficiaries of it. We all know historically who hasn't been qualified but gotten the jobs and opportunities anyway.
Are you afraid of competition?
I am not afraid of competition. Competition can be good. That being said,
Are you
what's
afraid
great?
to compete?
Well,
Are you
I think
afraid to
actually,
compete?
hold on. Are you afraid of some other television station beating you? I mean, you're not. Okay,
You know why? No, you know why?
Because you're confident. That's
No,
great.
not just confident. Because see, I have skill set. I understand what I do. See, but what you're telling me
That
is
sounds like confidence.
No. What you're telling me is this here. Richard, here's what it sounds like. Listen what it sounds like. I'm not a psychologist.
Can I finish my point?
But you're afraid. You are afraid that you now are going to have to compete. You've had such a head start. You've had an 80-yard head start in a 100-meter dash, and now you're upset that people are catching up.
Sure.
Why are you so afraid?
Sure, everyone likes to win. But to be honest, in terms of Donald, what's great about Donald Trump is that he hasn't been saying, oh, this is great global competition for all Americans, let's do it. No, he's actually said, I care about my people first. I care about
people.
He's referring to all Americans. When he says, my people first, America first, what he's saying is that he is going to help the people of this country first.
But you don't
he's
want
not
that.
going to throw them out to the wind.
But you don't want that. You don't want.
Yes, I do.
So you don't mind blacks and Hispanics and Asians, Native Americans getting jobs, doing well. You don't mind that?
Of course, I don't mind that.
Okay, but you're so concerned that oh my God, whites are not getting hired when that's not true.
Clearly whites are getting hired. My claim is that effectively every major institution in this country, from governmental institutions to corporations, are discriminating against whites and white.
When you're majority white,
they literally talk about it. If you believe race doesn't matter and that we're all equal and so on, then the Apple Corporation should be 65% white. It's not.
The reason why it's not 65% white is not because you're being discriminated against. It's because there's non-whites that are better at tech. He can't actually think that somebody with a tech company would mess with their bottom line just to discriminate against somebody white, right?
Now that goes back to what I just said. I just said that these other communities, they from the child's infancy, right? By the time they're 3 years old, they look at their kids. All right, this is what you're going to be in life. You're going to be a doctor, lawyer, whatever. You're going to go to this tech school. I already know what schools you're going to go to. So how I spoke in my area, the Indians and the Muslims, they have their own schools that specialize in, like I said, technology, entrepreneurship, whatever. But what this guy is complaining about, he doesn't understand that these kids are birthed and raised into tech. Right, from birth, versus if you look at the average school system in a white community or even a black community, it's not centered around the future. Like these kids aren't pointed in a certain direction, right? They're just like, you're just out there, right? And wherever you land is where you land, right? That's how most communities are set up. Well, when it comes to tech, if you notice, you have a very large population of Indians, Arabs, Asians. That's because from birth they're pointed like, this is what you're going to be. You're going to be in, tech. You're going to be, an entrepreneur. You're going to be this. Like the family has already set up, got their mindset. As soon as that child turns 3 years old and they can walk, it's like this is who you're going to be, right? Because they're paying attention to the future versus how white America is designed. It's designed for you to be a consumer. That's how it was originally designed, for you to become a consumer, right? And it wasn't, when the society was designed, it wasn't designed with the internet in mind, for the internet to break out and then people were able to get access to more information and figure things out on their own to actually get on the other side and then continue to become the person that continues to milk off of that consumer, right? So that's one thing that this guy is missing. But I'm gonna let him cook though. Not the guy in the video. I'm talking about the neo-Nazi guy that they were just interviewing.
Them white tears is real. Then they got the nerve to say we be playing victim. Stop complaining and develop your skills like everybody else has to.
Hold up. You said this
Now he's cooking. All right, he's cooking. He's over there fucking cooking. He's right. Now I hate people that complain. I don't give a fuck if you're white or you're black. I see black people that say, "Oh, I can't get ahead in life because the white people robbed my great grandfather, or because of I need reparations in order to move forward." I hate that shit. Right. And I'm damn sure going to say I hate it when it comes to white people, because to me, in my opinion, the playing field is level, especially with the internet. The playing field is fucking level. And I agree. Like these guys, there was a Tucker Carlson interview, right? Let me pull that John up. Tucker Carlson and what's that guy's name? Nick Fuentes, right? This interview right here, Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes 3 days ago. So it's actually this one right here. This video was full of them just complaining about what other people are doing. Oh my God, it's the Jews, it's black people. Like, and I'm just confused. I'm like, and the average black person, 99% of black people, we aren't worried about nobody else. We just trying to make money, right? And this entire interview was 2 hours and 18 minutes, and it is complete sadness. Like these guys are sitting there blaming women because they can't get laid, blaming Jews because they don't have certain opportunities, blaming blacks. And I'm just like, Joe, like there is no white man on this planet that can hold me back. There is no white man sitting up in the clouds holding me back. If you're black and you think that there's a white man holding you back, I'll be the first one to tell you that you ain't shit and you deserve to have what you have currently, because that's not true. It's not true at all. There's hella opportunities out here, especially if you understand the internet. Like Gary Vee said, who's a white guy or Italian, he said out of his own mouth, the white man lost control of the world when the internet came out. And I've said that in multiple videos. If you aren't taking advantage of the internet, you probably are losing that life right now. It is what it is. But let's get back to Homeboy. And one more thing. So also the rise of all of these racist content creators, right? So like you have this girl, Lily Gaddis. Again, her channel is very similar, right? She's just complaining about what other people are doing. If you go to her YouTube channel, the black's this, right? And then she has.
Insult. I saw a black guy swim once. He drowned. Really? What's some other good reels?
Right. So she does stupid shit like this, right? And again, she's somebody. And what's crazy is, from my understanding, I heard she actually has a black child, or her child isn't white. So it's kind of, I get it. It can be monetized. But again, they're complaining over stuff. I firmly believe everyone has complete control over your life. If you want to become a thousandaire, a millionaire, a billionaire, you can do so, especially in America, especially with the internet. So I don't understand, these guys complaining about other cultures. Like we're not even worried about y'all. We over here trying to get paid, all of us. Like, help me understand, right? And if you can't get laid, it's probably because you're a fucking weirdo and you live in a small town with 10,000 person population where half the town is your fucking cousin. Get out somewhere, touch sand or grass, for real.
Should be 65% white, but if Apple is saying that we're
tremendously overrepresented.
Because maybe if Asians are going and studying in those sectors, that's why.
Right, but sure, but I mean, you're just begging the question.
No, I'm not begging the question. What I'm saying is this here: why are more white?
Why are they? Why are they going into sciences and not? I mean, like, why are Asians succeeding in science?
I want the Texas,
whereas Africans aren't.
I want the Texas A&M. Why are more whites in agriculture?
We have a natural, tendency to do that. I don't know.
No, you don't. First of all, black people actually out there sitting
picking cotton. Black people created agriculture.
No, but we damn sure did the work. But here's my whole point here. Here's my whole point, which I'm trying to get you to understand.
Okay.
If you have more whites who are going into agriculture, again, I'm a Texas A&M University graduate.
I grew up in Texas.
Okay, where?
In Dallas.
Okay, which part of Dallas?
The white part.
Which part? There's a lot of white parts in Dallas.
Just Preston Hollow.
Yeah. I see exactly where your thought process comes from. That's why you have the white country clubs there as well, because they don't want other people in there. But again,
are there black churches, black country clubs?
Are the black churches? No, they have black country clubs where you have black people who play. But also,
aren't there black institutions that are just for you?
No, it's not just for us. Because the fact of the matter is,
churches, those are just for you guys.
No, actually, no.
That's great.
But actually, no, it's not. Because there are black churches where you can come if you want to, doesn't matter. And just like you have a white church, you can come. That's my point, but that's what it is. So you're factually incorrect. Here's my whole point. When I talk about agriculture, there are more whites who are going into agriculture. Why? Because that's the area they're going into. So if Asians are going into a particular area, that's where they're going.
You're begging the question. All I'm saying is, why are Asians succeeding at these technical fields?
They're succeeding because they're putting in the work to learn the skill. Something that you guys have never had to do. At the end of the day, they want it easy. These are the actual people that want the handout while accusing everybody else of that very thing.
Because they're working in it.
Because again, you're just begging questions. Like, at some point,
why are whites succeeding in agriculture?
Can you let me finish? I'll ultimately get to this. It's about human nature, and it's about their unique gifts. Asians have
unique gifts.
Yes, East Asians have a higher, on average, IQ than Europeans. It's remarkable. It doesn't surprise me that they succeed at math. They succeed in science. Oh, that's a terrible stereotype.
No. I'm not using stereotypes.
It is what it is.
All I'm saying is here, Richard. The fact of the matter is here.
This is actually why I would want to restrict immigration of East Asians. It's not because I think I'm afraid of them. I actually respect them. I respect their civilization. It's about protecting my people. That's what it's about.
But here's the people. When you keep saying my people, then you say all Americans when you're not talking about it. Here's the reality, Richard. The reality is here.
You have to navigate between people you care about and all.
I got you. Here's the deal, Richard. We're not going anywhere. And see, Richard, it's about to be a little tough for you. About to be a little tough for you, Richard, because see, you and your people have had a great head start. Tremendous head start. 20-odd Africans arriving in 1619. One second. 16. But see, that's what I'm saying. When you have a head start, that means you're scared to compete. See, I know some other whites out there who are not white nationalists, who are not afraid of competition, who are not afraid of this. But here's the reality. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
And you might want to suck that up. And I know it's rough. But I suggest what you should be doing, Richard, is preparing your generation for a world of competition where you have to where you don't get the head start your mom and daddy gave you, that you're going to start maybe not 80 yards ahead, but 30. But you know what? You may want to train harder because we're training harder and we're going to catch up.
We're going to win. And also,
you're not going to win,
Mr.
Richard.
Martin, I want to tell you, you've got to prepare yourself. You've dealt with a bunch of guilt-ridden, silly whites all your life, and we are waking up. We are recognizing who we are, and we see an amazing future.
Richard,
so you better get ready.
I'm telling you right now, Richard, here's the deal. 1619, 20-odd Africans arrived, Fort Comfort, Virginia. Okay, 1619, 397 years ago. Trust me, we're resilient. We're not going anywhere. And I'm going to tell you right here, and as my frat brother Vertner Woodson Tandy said, 1937, we will fight until hell freezes over, and then we will fight on the ice. You better go work out, because you got to fight on your hands.
I'm going to end it with this, because I hear this a lot. Well, CJ, doesn't everybody want the best for their race of people? Of course they do. But the key difference is this: whiteness is rooted in white supremacy. And that white supremacy comes with the violent exclusion and oppression of other marginalized groups. While everybody else's race to the top, it simply doesn't. I'm out.
The coddling is for the white.
Hey, shout out to him. He cooked, man. Let me know what you all think down in the comments. I kind of agree with a lot of the stuff that he said. I really don't understand it. And it's only stuff that I see on the internet. It's never like the white people that I know. White people that I know, they don't give a fuck about none of that shit. It's like some internet stuff. And the majority of these people are in these suburban, very small towns down south where, they don't have a lot of friends. All they know is what they see on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They don't have any real exposure or experience in life. That's who a lot of these people are. But when you come into the cities, when you come into these places with larger populations where, you had to have been competitive from, a young age, right? A lot of these small town people really don't. They don't get that. Okay. They're literally in their own bubble. Some of these small towns don't even have paved roads. Right. So let me know what you all think down in the comments. Just watching this gave me fatigue. Like the amount of excuses, and again, like I was talking about with this Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes thing, just complaining about everything external when in reality, your outside world starts from within. And that's just real.